Hey guys, welcome to the Get Ready for Greatness Lunch and Learn workshop. I'm Richard Cuff, and if this is the first time you've come across one of my videos, please let me introduce myself. I'm president of CTI Marketing, founder of Nasimba Business Alliance, and master greatness coach here at GetReadyForGreatness.com. And I want to just give you a little bit of a background on what I'm doing and what this particular lunch and learn session is about. I made a commitment the um, over the last couple days because of this coronavirus shutdown that we're going through, that I would bring my workshops to this virtual world like everyone else is that's working from home now. We're discovering chat rooms, video chats, and Zoom meetings um, like never before. And my coaching over the last 30 years has always been about one-on-one or personal connections. I've never really been big on online and sales or anything like that, but everything now has sort of been forced onto the internet as entrepreneurs are scrambling to try and find a way to keep their business going. So more and more businesses are discovering that the internet is making it happen simply because we have no other choice. But certain things are happening to the business world that make it makes everyone have to rethink how they're going to conduct their business. And it certainly caused me to rethink. I'll share with you just from the impact of my business personally. Um, we had spent thousands of dollars putting together the infrastructure to prepare to do these lunch and learn workshops and coaching sessions around the country, only in a physical setting. The idea is that you would not be able to find a Get Ready for Greatness lunch and learn workshop without actually coming to the lunch, because I'm simply old school, guys. I'm a uh, shake hands and meet people and see you eye to eye and get to know you. And yes, that kind of limits me as to how many customers I can have and how much money I can make. But I'm not about numbers. I'm about results. And I found that I can get the best results by identifying the person that I can work with and forming that relationship with them personally, and then beginning to work from there. So the only way that I could grow my business was to show others how to do the same thing and, in essence, create your own community. And then I would connect these communities through the marketplace that we are developing that allow entrepreneurs to come together and work and well, all of those plans went out the window, is the bottom line. And now, like everyone else, I am shifting all of my operations over to the internet and getting comfortable with this social distancing. Right now, I'm in my podcasting studio, and I had not necessarily planned on doing anything live from this studio. My lives were going to take place in another setting, but they all came together. So that's enough about how we got here. As you begin to continue to tune in, you're going to understand what Get Ready for Greatness and the whole Get Ready for Greatness concept is about, what this community is about. Uh, Get Ready for Greatness, in essence, is just a place for coaches to bring what they have to the community. And right now, I am the first and only master greatness coach at Get Ready for Greatness. Over the years, I've worked with several other individuals who have their area of focus, and then I they just learn my process and they become certified to be able to identify people that can work or who can use my services, primarily because the way that the system works is if you're an accountant or a graphic designer or an ad exec, you may have a client that wants to use your service, but you know that there's something that the client is not really ready. They may not, whether they may not have the budget, they may not have the mindset, or they may not have the right mentality to be able to handle your service, or just you know that they could use the coaching that we offer. So we would form the relationship with that accountant, with that graphic designer, with that ad exec. And in essence, it's an affiliate relationship. But the client is then sent over to us, and we help them basically start from ground zero and go through our incubator, what we call the incubation funnel. And we take you through an incubation funnel designed specifically for you so that you can come out of that funnel ready for the greatness that awaits you. And that greatness may come when you go back and work with that Facebook ad expert, or go back and work with that accountant. But you'll be better able to communicate with them because uh, we've through our coaching, we've helped you to be able to identify your strengths. I don't have the book here on my desk. Tomorrow I'll share it with you, and maybe post it on the links. But if you go to my website, getreadyforgreatness.com, and create a free coaching profile, you'll see that we've taken this 21 days to greatness, the PS Factor 21 days to greatness coaching, and there's a workbook that you can download as a part of the training. It's a $49. Basically, it's the try it and see if you like it kind of process. And if you try it out for $49 for 30 days, and you decide, well, maybe this coaching is not for me, you've not spent any more than $49. You're under no obligation beyond the 30 days to do anything. But if you choose that you do want to go into the incubation funnel, then of course you can go and grow from there. But I can talk to you more about that later. This particular session is my lunch and learn workshop. So right now I'm doing the Facebook, YouTube, Zoom. It's all, I'm talking to you live at this very moment. But when you see this for the first time, it will probably be a recording, and I will have edited it to be able to make certain that we can share the greatest information for you. So thank you for allowing me to just give you a little bit of a background on what we're doing. I'm going to share my screen here with you and get into the lunch and learn workshop. So, and I'm going to also go, I need to go over to the, and share both my screen and my video. So give me a second as I move over to Zoom here and officially share my screen. I apologize for that. I have to, there we go. All right, let me move the video over here to the corner. All right, guys. This is the first one is the lunch and learn workshop, and then we'll do that one, and we'll do that one. So let's do the Get Ready for Greatness lunch and learn. The Get Ready for Greatness lunch and learn workshop. It's basically two components. You're going to get the what I've called for years. It was called the Understanding the Basics of Business Lunch and Learn, and it was designed specifically for those who were thinking about starting a business, wanted to avoid the mistakes that so many people have gone through. They pay for something, and sometimes it's as little as $500, $500 to $1,500. That's a pretty good starting point if you're thinking about starting a business. Very low risk. It doesn't take a lot of money. Robert Kiyosaki said it best talking about network marketing. He said, if I had to do it all over again, I would probably do network marketing because nowhere else can you invest $500 and in cash and 5 years in time and become a millionaire. And that is so true. Network marketing works because of this process of adding to your numbers a little bit at a time. Yes, in the beginning, network marketing is difficult because you have a very small network of people. And after you've asked your best friend and his mom and you've gone through your little circle, yeah, it can get kind of frustrating because you haven't applied the training that comes with learning to expand your reach or finding something other than network marketing to do the sale. So, but giving it 5 years and investing $500 can pretty much ensure your success. Here's the problem: most people give up within 5 weeks, and the real successful network marketers, their attitude is this: I'm not going to waste my time on you if you're going to give up in 5 weeks. And if you've ever done network marketing, you know that that's the case. The person who signs you up, man, they're asking you to come to those opportunity meetings and get everything in place, and then before you know it, they, you know, they've got you on a call with some heavy hitter, and this guy, he's making $5 million. He's going to tell you how you can do it. And that's all the hype. But if you can't make it past that sixth week, because then we've been talking about it with the coronavirus, you start to flatten the curve. So all that enthusiasm that you had in the very beginning begins to wane and flattens, and next thing you know, you're back to the 9 to 5 job. And the reason for that is there's no change in your mindset. So get ready for greatness is all about that shift in your mindset. When we start talking about the PS factor and the PS factor and the 21 days to greatness training, that's going to get over onto the spiritual side. So you're going to see in these lunch and learn sessions that I'm going to be addressing both sides. First, I'm going to talk about the physical, and then I'm going to get into the spiritual. On the physical side, we're talking about the nuts and bolts of a business and what it's going to take to get your business going. And over the next 21 days, there'll be different segments that I'll be talking about as it relates to the business. And some of it will be um, repetitive. It's just that we'll be taking it from a different angle so that you can really understand it. But in reality, there's only going to be three components that we're going to focus on over the 3 week period, and it's just going to keep looping every 21 days. So in essence, it doesn't matter if you're catching this uh, for the first time and we're on day 20. That's fine. You just keep watching, and in 21 days, you will have gotten everything that you're supposed to get out of this training. And hopefully, you'll watch it 21 days and another 21 days and another 21 days and another, because that cycle, that process has to repeat itself for you to develop the habit. And there's a Bible verse where Jesus is having a conversation with his disciples, and one of the disciples asks him about forgiveness. Like, yo, Jesus, how often should we forgive these nuts? These are 7 times. And Jesus was like, no, 7 times 70. Now that's 490 times that you're forgiving somebody. Now, if you were to just take that at face value, you would say, well, Jesus is telling you to allow someone to offend you 490 times, and 490 times you are supposed to forgive them. That's not what it means at all. What it's saying is 490 times, after doing it 490 times, it should be a habit. It should be something that you're doing without thought. And you shouldn't give any thought to whether or not you should forgive. It should be part of your DNA, that is just who you are as a person. And that's what we're going to be talking about as well. So there are plenty of gurus who are selling their courses right now, and they're selling them for tens of thousands of dollars. And there are those that'll tell you that if you're not selling your course for $30,000, you're missing out on the money. Yes, you are. but I've sold this particular training and course for $30,000. But it has also been with me coming in and doing the work. And it's not about me selling it to you for 30,000 and then telling you to go do the work. I'm I don't think that that's the way it's supposed to go. So, but if you are thinking that this course is that kind of a course, this is not the course for you. This is not a get rich quick. This is not going to change your life overnight. And this is not going to enable you to go out there and sign up 100 people and sit back and just wait for the checks to come in. As so many different organizations and network marketers out there are telling you, it's none of that. This is just old school, how I've been around for 40 years doing what I'm doing. I'm heading into these wonderful 60s. And where I thought I would be retiring, it looks like, everybody who was ready to pull that parachute and just slide into retirement, this economy has said there's more to do. And I want to get into the training with this because this is one of my favorite quotes. This is Seth Godin. Seth says, um, if we can fall in love with serving people, creating value, solving problems, building valuable connections, and doing work that matters, it makes it far more likely that we're going to do important work. I'm hoping that as you join me for these lunch and learn sessions, that you will see this as important work. So you're probably watching the recording, not catching it live, but you'll be able to catch it live on my Get Ready for Greatness YouTube page, YouTube channel, and be sure to subscribe and hit that like button and ring the bell and leave some comments and all that other stuff as we continue to grow this community. So without any further ado, let's get into the lunch and learn. So this Get Ready for Greatness lunch and learn. I'd like um, this what Marianne Williamson said. She was a candidate for president, and she quickly dropped out. But I first saw this quote in the movie. What was the movie? The Aquila and the Bee, Lawrence Fishburne, um, um, and I can't remember the woman's name. Uh, uh, Kiki Palmer. Okay, yeah, all right. They were in the movie. She was in doing the spelling bee, and this hit that point where she was doubting herself, and he had her to read this quote. It says, "Our deepest fear is not that we're inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that frightens us." It and then um, who we ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, and talented? I'm going to let me do this. I'm going to move my video here and um, let me do something real quick. Give me 1 second, guys. I want to share. I want to stop sharing my screen for a second, and because and thank you all so much for this. I'm really trying to get everything set up the way that it needs to go. And what I want to do is this: is I realize that I truly I want to share the screen, but I also give me 1 second. I'm going to take my video out and let me see if I can do. I want to try something here. I want to share my screen and also let's go back to here. Share my screen, and then my video. And by the way, this will edit out because I'll come back later and do it. But this is the wonderful world of live, right? So I am now sharing this screen, and then I'm going to go over to my video page here and come back. All right, but this is the quote. So in essence, what we're talking about and what she's talking about is you don't enlighten yourself by shrinking. And so I'm gonna you're gonna be able to find this quote, but I'll have it up a little bit later. But I want to just talk to you right now about what my business structure looks like. Originally, the company started off as North American Small and Emerging Market Business Association, gave us the acronym NASIMBA, and I started NASIMBA Business Alliance, and the three companies, CTI Marketing, Concentel Mobile, and NASIMBA Business Alliance, over the past um, 25 years have sort of evolved to be those three companies that I mentioned that would serve the marketing, accounting, and customer service needs of the business. So every business has those three components. So as a business consultant, it's easy for me to go in and identify the challenges that you're facing as an entrepreneur because they all are the same. And I'm gonna do another move here because I want to move my camera over a little bit so that I can make certain that I get all this. It's right here. Yeah, I think that's. Thank you guys for bearing with me on this. Again, the beautiful thing about editing, I'll edit that out. But CTI marketing, um, those there are three components of your business. There's the marketing, the accounting, and the customer service. Those you will find that those three are in every business. It doesn't matter how complicated the business is, doesn't matter what it does. There's always going to be marketing, there's going to be accounting, and there's going to be customer service. Uh, for the last 25 years, I focused on marketing, but that's because that was my comfort zone. That's what I did great. I knew what I was good at. And I worked with children for the last 20 years. I've focused on the Guiding Success Program, a nonprofit organization that I poured my heart into. So rather than going out and building some fancy dancy multi-billion dollar marketing firm, I decided I wanted to work with children. And I love working with little ones, especially in the pre-K and K4 area because we teach them to play violin in preschool. And so as they're learning to play violin, they're growing. And yeah, my 3-year old who started at 3 is now 23 years old. That's my daughter. And for 20 years, she's been working on mastering the violin. She's now working on her master's degree in violin performance. So those are the areas where I found my love. And you may not know where to begin, but or where you're going to go. But I'm saying to you, that's the beginning. Begin there where you are truly learning your craft, where you find what you're good at, right? That's the first thing you want to do is discover what is it that you are really good at. Now, that's how you're going to make a living, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. Then the next thing you want to talk about is what do you love to do? Now, what you love to do may not be what you're good at, but what you're good at may pay the bills. And that's important and for you to have that primary secondary. In essence, what you're good at will become the secondary to your primary, what you love to do. But right now, if you're not doing what you love to do, then what you're good at is the primary. That 9 to 5 is your primary, or it was your primary. Now, if you're finding yourself without a job, it doesn't mean that you've lost your primary. Maybe now is the time to go and focus on what you love to do, right? So, and you may still have to be you're on the search for a job, but those two things work together. And then ultimately, the third one is what is it that how does success look to you? What does success look like? So all of those are will come together through this, and you'll see that process of threes, three businesses, three uh, components, three stages, three there's threes, and we'll talk a little bit more by the time we finish the 21 days. You'll figure all where all of that comes into play. But the those companies evolved, and each one now has their own image. And so over the years, I've worked with some great graphic designers and to give me some logos to help me deliver the message. Now, these logos are going to change and evolve in over the years, and prayerfully they'll be around long after I've left this earth, and the companies will continue to do what they're doing. But this is how my businesses look, and we're going to walk you through the process to getting your business to look the same. So let's talk about CTI marketing, and well, the marketing component of your business. And the number one thing that you're going to do with marketing is you're trying to get someone to purchase your product or to hire you for their service, hire your service for to solve their need. But what you have to first realize is that that person is not going to give you any money. It's and especially in this economy, right, where we're probably going to be facing 35% unemployment. That person is not going to give you their money unless you solve their problem. But here is the challenge with that. People don't want to pay for solving their problem. You know, somebody's is their house is on fire. You drive over and put it. I've never seen anybody write a check to the fireman and say, "Thank you so much for coming and putting out my fire." Somebody's choking in the restaurant. You go and do the Heimlich, and the bone flies across the table. I've never seen anybody whip out a credit card and say, "Hey, dude, thank you for bringing breathing back to my life." Well, people don't pay for their solving their problem. But once you identify the problem, you then find the solution and deliver the solution. And that solution may have to be delivered through a pill or through a ointment or with a needle in the arm or whatever it is, but you got to find a way to deliver the solution. Again, people don't necessarily want to pay for that. But you know what people pay for? They pay for the value that you add after you have delivered the solution and identified the problem. So you identify the problem, deliver the solution. Now you can add the value. And once you add the value, then you can name your price. And here is the point. People go, well, how do I price my product? You can you can put anything on the product. That's why there's people selling their coaching and their courses for $5,000 and $8,000, and then they sell three of them. And next thing you know, they're doing a whole course telling you how they did it. And come to my training, and I'm going to tell you, they sold three courses, and now they're the guru, and they're making a lot of money. Well, that's how it's supposed to be. You can put a price on on anything that you offer. The price is always determined by the seller. But in any marketplace, there's always a two-way street. There has to be a seller and there has to be a buyer. The value then is determined by the customer. And we're going to break that word customer down a little bit further in some of the other trainings. But I just want to go through this real quickly to just give you an overview of what the how we're going to be talking about business and what you should be thinking about your mindset. Now, the price is determined by you. The value is determined by the customer, but there can be no transaction until the price and the value come to terms. Okay? There can be no transaction until the price and the value come to terms. So, knowledge has no value except that which can be gained through its application toward some worthy end. Napoleon Hill said that, but to um, put it in biblical terms, the Bible says, "My people perish for a lack of knowledge." If you don't have the knowledge, you can't apply it, and you can't reach that worthy end. Swimming across the lake and getting to the other side of the lake is a worthy goal when you fall off the boat. So you fall off the boat has sunk. It's gone under the water. Now you're in the middle of the lake and you got to swim across the lake to get to the other side. That's a worthy end. That's a worthy goal. But guess what? If you can't swim, you ain't going to reach that worthy goal because you don't have the knowledge of swimming. So without knowledge, it doesn't matter that you got worthy goals. Get the knowledge first. So let's do this. As I go into this first section, I'm going to move the video over again so that I can make certain that I keep it out of the way. In this particular section, we're going to talk about the traditional business model, choosing a business structure that fits in record keeping. I'm not going to go too much into the record keeping, but if when you're starting your business, you want to choose the structure that fits. Here would be a really good. Let's see. I put the video. I knew that it comes right. I'm trying to get this. Forgive me, guys. I'm gonna find the right place to put this video so that it stays out of the way. But these are the structures that you can form your corporation or your business, and we'll go more into detail on that. But if you're starting with you're thinking about starting a business, a great place to start your business is in the office of the person that's going to be your CPA. Um, my when I'm not coaching and consulting on the marketing side, I'm primarily working as an accountant and doing bookkeeping and data entry, primarily because I know the value that it brings to the businesses to be able to say to their CPA, "Hey, I need the last three um, years of my financials in order to apply for this loan." There are so many people right now scrambling, trying to put together financials to be able to meet the criteria to get this money from the federal government. And now they're calling our office and wanting to set up an appointment. They're bringing um, box loads. Well, now they sit at my desk and log in so I can download their bank statements for the last 3 years and say, "Can you help me?" Man, I wish you had come to me when you were thinking about starting a business. That's where this is. So you're going to look at also the legal entity, and therefore the second place you want to begin is with an attorney. So your CPA and your attorney are the great places to begin, and then the future needs is your financial planner. So you got your CPA, you got your attorney, and you got your financial planner. And when you've got those three in your life, you're doing quite well. Fortunately for me, I sleep every night with my financial planner, my wife, because of her background and her licenses to serve in that field with financial management. So uh, they people are selling stock and doing all of those things, and so she's got work to do as well. So there are a lot of people that are going to do quite well in this business arena. So also, I'll just go through this. You need to keep your good records, bank records, and if you start off your business, if you can just go into your computer and create a folder for each one of these, this would just be so powerful. You want a folder for all your accounting and bookkeeping. You want a folder for all your bank records. You want a folder for all your contracts. You want a folder for all your corporate records. You want a folder for all the letters that you send out to people. You want folder for your employee records, not only your employees, but the employees that you hire, but your employment yourself, because you are going to be your business's first employee. You want to create a folder for your marketing and advertising records, create a folder for permits and licenses, create a permit for stock records. You're going, "Oh my God, all this before I even start my business?" Yes, a lot of people are doing this on the fly, and that's not you cannot do this stuff while your business is flying around at 100 miles an hour and your tax records. Share a great story with you, and the there is a story of a heart surgeon who grew up as a NASCAR fan. So he wanted, two things. He was either going to be a NASCAR driver or a heart surgeon. Well, he became a heart surgeon, and he finally got a chance to, as a successful surgeon, a friend of his got a connection for him to actually go and meet the crew chief of his favorite NASCAR team. And the crew chief was, himself a driver. And the doctor meets him. He says, "Man, I grew up watching you race. I wanted to be a racer because of you. It's such an honor to meet you, to just be in your presence." And I love the way a car can just crash and fall apart. And in 48 hours, you got it back working again from pieces. You put it back together. That inspired me to become a heart surgeon. And the NASCAR chief looked at him and said, "I really appreciate the fact that you think I'm doing such a great job, but I want you to know, as hard as I work, I can never make as much money as you. You make far more money than I make. And basically for doing the same thing I do, you just do it with hearts, I do it with cars." And the heart surgeon looked at the chief, the crew chief, and said, "Listen, yes, it is true that we both work the same way." He says, "But I challenge you to try working on that engine while it's still running." See, that's the difference. Is your business is not in the static state. When it's on paper, it is. And this is the place to begin. It's easy to tear the business apart and put it back together and move paper around and do all those different things. But try to keep that business running in its dynamic state where it's like everything is moving and you don't have the luxury to slow it down, to put it up on jacks and have it sit in the shop for 6 weeks while you fix the problem. No, if a problem comes up in your business while your business is operating, you're going to have to fix that problem. So let's wrap up here on the business side. I want to show you the traditional business model and the way that things work. So you are your startup and you're the business owner and you have your PS, your product or service. And this is really where the PS factor came from, because what I said was the marketing, accounting, and customer service, you can get that from a systematic standpoint, but um, the business itself, the product or service, the entrepreneur has to bring that. And it went from product and service to physical, spiritual to PS factor. And we'll talk about how that kind of evolved. But that's what the PS factor is. And again, I need to move this out of the way, guys. Forgive me. Um, the PS factor is because um, you're the entrepreneur and you provide that PS factor. But the PS factor is your level of conscious awareness of your natural God given ability to attract a successful outcome in any given situation. So when you are consciously aware of your ability to attract success, then what ends up happening, you can do the things necessary to bring success. You're not sweating in a bad situation, a down economy. In fact, the drivers in these NASCAR races, they're zipping around that track at 200 miles an hour. They are trained to not put their foot on the brake. They're trained to keep driving straight through that accident. Because at 200 miles an hour, if any one of them stop, whatever accident there is on the track, it's going to get worse. No, those guys go zipping past that accident. They might slow down by taking their foot off the gas, but they're certainly not going to put their foot on the brake. They're going to navigate through the wreckage. And that's what your mindset has to be. But to what level are you at your PS factor? At PS1, you're just physical. That's all you know is the physical. You don't have any other outcome, no options. Everything is physical. If I can't kill it and eat it or shoot it and club it upside the head or something, physical. But when you move up, raise your conscious awareness to the fact that you have a mind that can work, then you become PS2, mental. Then PS3, the next level is emotion. And listen, the best definition I've ever heard of an emotion is that an emotion is a extremely fast subconscious evaluation of that situation. So in it's one moment it was standing still, the next moment it's starting to move. That's your thought. So when it was standing still, that's your physical being. When it starts to move and get faster and faster, those are your thoughts. When it starts traveling at the speed of light so fast that you can't see it, that and so fast that it can go through walls and penetrate solid objects, now you're on the emotional level. But then at PS4 is spiritual. And spiritual is, it goes even deeper than that, faster than that. But here's what I want you to understand, that although there is physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual, you are not a physical body with a mind that has emotions and conscious of your spirit. It's not like you suddenly wake up and hallelujah, I'm a spiritual being. I need to go to church every Sunday. That's not what that means. What it means is you become conscious of the fact that you are a spiritual being first. And as a spiritual being, you come into this existence with so much power that it creates a big bang that gives you feelings. And these feelings, not sensations. I'm not talking about your senses, sight, smell, hearing, taste, and touch. I'm talking about your feelings, gratitude, forgiveness, respect, compassion, love, those kinds of things that you don't need a physical body to sense. That's what your spirit brings into your emotions. And your emotions are vibrating super fast. And then as they begin to slow down, they become thoughts. And as your thoughts begin to slow down, they become words. And as your words begin to speak, they become physical things. So, yes, thoughts are things, but why are thoughts things? They're things because they come from the power that your emotional energy brings. But why is your emotional energy so powerful? Because of your spirit. And your spirit came from somewhere, and it came from God. So God created this spirit, your spirit created your emotions create your mental thoughts, and your mental thoughts create your physical reality. When you understand that and apply it to business, it looks like this. You recognize the Pareto principle, the 80-20-20 rule. It says 80% of your focus, your mindset, is going to be on running your business, right? Selling your product. Ask anybody what business they are in, and they will always describe what they do. I do lawns, I do hair, I sell books, I this, but nobody says the other 20%, which is marketing, accounting, and customer service. Why? Because they see it as a small part of the business, 20% at the most, divided between those three things. And that's about how much focus and attention you give it until the economy crashes. And then you're running over here to get the accounting together, or you're or suddenly your phones are ringing off the hook because suddenly everybody's calling you up for masks, or calling you up for thermometers, and all you were doing was just making your little thermometers in your basement, and now everybody wants one, and they can't get through the customer service. Why? Because now suddenly customer service is important. Or you lost all your customers that left your business and they're gone. And I'm telling you, there are businesses that are going to be scrambling now because they don't know where their customers went. Why? Because they didn't know their customers. They had no information on their customers. They weren't tracking. I don't need that stuff, Richard, that you're trying to sell me. I don't need a point of sale system. I don't need CRM. I don't need any of that. Well, now you don't have a customer, and you don't have a way of going back and getting those customers. And you now discover that you're going to spend 10 times what to get a new customer than what you would have spent to keep an existing customer. So now marketing, accounting, and customer service are important. Well, that 20% that you focus of the Pareto principle, what it says, that although it accounts for 20%, it's responsible for 80% of the reason that you're successful. So 80% of the reason that the average business that comes out of this particular economic collapse is successful will have nothing to do with their product or service. 80% of the reason that they are successful will have everything to do with marketing, accounting, and customer service. That's the Pareto principle. It's 20% of your focus, but 80% of your success. And so now what's the solution then? Once you recognize how important marketing, accounting, and customer service is, you do what most of these big corporations do. You hire a staff. Now, that's the other problem. Amazon hires the staff, Google hires the staff, all these major corporations hire a staff, and they got tens of thousands of people working. And yet again, I'm going to find the right place to put this thing, but I'll just keep moving it around, guys. But they tens of thousands of people are hired now, and they and even you, let's say you want to hire a marketing manager, you can get $36,000 a year. You can bring somebody on staff for that. That's a little bit above minimum wage, but not the best. Certainly a third of what a great marketing person would be. Bookkeeping person, $1,500 a month, maybe. Yeah, you can try and get away. Ask Uncle Eddie to do it, right? Now you're up to $54,000, and then try to get somebody to come in and work for you to answer your phones at just $1,600 a month and pay them. Now you got a total of $73,200 for marketing, accounting, and customer service, and you haven't even started your business yet. So now that's what you want to go to the bank for. And you say, look, I need at least enough salary to pay the people for the first year, and I'm going to hire three employees and pay them little or nothing, and that's 73,000. That's 75,000, and you haven't even talked about paying yourself. You got $6,100 a month in expenses. So if even if you could come in and outsource it, and that's what we do, we allow you to outsource it. You come in as an incubator client, use our solution, and now you focus on the product and service, and we focus on providing your marketing, accounting, and customer service. Even if we cut it in half, you're still paying $3,000 a month and about $36,000 a year. And that's, my friends, right there is why I've always been able to get a $30,000 client, is because I simply show the client that my company is going to come in and do the work of these three employees that you don't have, or that you have and they're not effective. So why not um, remove them, or before you hire three people that you have to turn around and manage, how about putting a system in place that will allow you to scale your business up, and it'll be always operating. But what we did was realize that this system, as powerful as it was for an existing business, that we could actually bring it down to a small business operating and using it for around $179 a month on average. So the small business can now see this system at about $3,700. So to go from $73,000 to $3,700, that's what you need to be thinking when you're planning to get your business off the ground. Consider all the costs. Don't just jump out there and start a business because someone told you you can start an LLC for $150, or you can pay for this software and you can get yourself a online business, or you can do all those things. If you're doing that, you're setting yourself up for failure. All right, so let me go to the next section. And I know that this is supposed to be our lunch and learn, but I really want to get this to you. Let's do this section here, and then I'll bring this particular lunch and learn to a halt. This is the first one, so it's really detailed, and it's not even at lunch. But tomorrow we'll join me. You can join me right here, Facebook. I'll also connect it over to Facebook, but right now we're on YouTube Live, so you'll be able to catch it live on YouTube, and then be able to come back to the Get Ready for Greatness YouTube channel and watch them anytime you want. But I'll also post them within my Get Ready for Greatness coaching platform at getreadyforgreatness.com. So now let's go to the lunch and learn session for week one. And remember, I told you there's 3 weeks, and these weeks are just going to repeat. So it doesn't matter where you come in, but the information is just going to duplicate itself, and you'll be able to get all the information that you need. So let's just go to an overview of this course. This course will help you understand the significance of balancing quality relationships with an effective and efficient use of time. You'll also learn how to manage physical and spiritual resources in order to reach your goals and achieve greatness. So you're going to really find that this is not your typical course. You've probably paid for a course before, and this is a little bit different. So, in this particular segment, we're going to talk about understanding the progressive mindset, and we'll be going over this all week long. And then I'm going to talk about the PS Factor, part one of the PS Factor. I call this the Rockefeller principle. John D. Rockefeller said, "You want to own nothing, but control everything." And but in the Bible, Psalms 24:1, the earth is the Lord's and all its fullness, so the fullness thereof, the King James says, the world and those who dwell therein. So, and then finally, Genesis 1:28, and God blessed them, and God said unto them, be fruitful and multiply, replenish the earth and subdue it, have dominion over the fish of the sea and over the fowl of the air and over every living thing that moves upon the earth. So what does that mean? How does all of that tie in? Basically what the Rockefeller principle and those other quotes in the verses, Bible verses says, you want to create a system that enables you to give every time the opportunity presents itself. It's been said that John Rockefeller would walk around with a pocket full of dimes. But you can walk around with a pocket full of dollar bills, and that every time somebody comes up and says, hey, you got $1, hey, can you help me out? Be in a position to be a blessing so that you don't own the flow of wealth. You don't own this world, but you can control it. You can subdue it. You can take dominion over it. And that's what that means. Own nothing, but control everything. The earth is the Lord's. There's no doubt about that. God created this. I didn't create it, but for whatever reason, he handed me the keys and said, now you control it, and we can do it. So you want to tithe consistently. We'll talk a little bit more about that in one of the other trainings, but you want to prepare now to leave an inheritance to your children's children. And you also want to invoke the kingdom principle of owning nothing, but controlling everything. And then ultimately you want to take every advantage of the wealth that comes from the wicked and foolish men. The Bible says, the wealth of the wicked is stored up for the just. Okay. I love to see wicked people uh, get rich, get wealthy, get look like they're getting over, because in a heartbeat, something's going to change and that ground is going to shake and that wealth is just going to fall in my hand. The Bible also says a fool and his money are soon parted. Ain't nothing like being around foolish people who got some money. You ever go out with somebody and they're like, drinks for everybody because they got a platinum card. Drinks for everybody. I'm paying. I'm buying. Okay, that's foolish, but I'm gonna hang out with you. So that's okay. That's okay. You don't have to try and feel like you need to shape everybody's habits. You need to understand that you can take advantage of the opportunities that they are presenting to you to prosper. So let's talk about the PS factor. And the PS factor, as I mentioned earlier, is your level of conscious awareness of your natural God-given ability to attract a successful outcome in any given situation. So what does it look like as a formula? OQP over 80 times ERR over 20 equals the PS factor, whether it's PS 1, 2, 3, or 4, like I mentioned earlier. Now, this is not a for real though science math formula. Somebody will say to me, well, that don't make any sense. It doesn't equate. I didn't write it to be a math formula to necessarily equal anything, but it's just to give you an idea that on one side you have OQP and the other side you have ERRI. So OQP um, it stands for only quality people. So you want to surround yourself with only quality people. 80% or more of the people in your life should be OQP. Now, what was really cool? Someone sent me a video of Les Brown, and he mentioned surround yourself with OQP. And they told me, the first time they heard OQP was, and the only time they'd ever heard it was that I had said it. I've been saying it now for like 15 years or so, maybe as many as 20 years, maybe even more. Good gracious. But I love the fact that it's now sort of gotten out there, and people are using it. But unfortunately, those who use it, they just say surround yourself with OQP, only quality people. That's not the way that I intended it. What I was saying was surround yourself with the characteristics of those that would be considered OQP. And so that when adversity hits and challenges you, it's going to be testing those characteristics, and you'll understand the benefit of surrounding yourself with OQP or the characteristics of OQP. But you cannot, to begin the process, You want to make certain that 80% or more of the people around you possess the very characteristics that you're trying to get to. Why not 100%? Because nobody's got 100% OQP in their life. Everybody's got an Uncle Willie. They're going to show up to the funeral drunk. Okay. Even Jesus had Judas. All right. So, but here are the 9 characteristics: fear God, love the truth, hate covetousness, dependable, loyal, capable, positive mental attitude, willing to go the extra mile, and faith. Those are the 9 characteristics of OQP. Um, and and again, we'll talk more about those individually in subsequent training. But ERRI stands for eliminate redundancy and remove inefficiencies. So that's over on the physical side. And no more, you should have no more than 20% redundancy. So 80% or more of the people in your life should be OQP, and 20% or less should be inefficient and redundant. Why 20%? Because you cannot get around having some inefficiencies in life. You have to sleep. That's 8 hours day gone. You have to stop and eat, got to go to the bathroom. You got to do a whole bunch of other stuff that's redundant and inefficient, and it takes away from your time. But you don't want to do those things and then spend 90% of your time on social media. My job, my career, in fact, requires me to sort of be up on what's going on social media. I wish I had the luxury of saying, "Oh, I don't have Facebook, I don't have Twitter, I don't have Instagram, I don't listen to any of that stuff. I'm not there." But I don't have that luxury. So I have to manage it. Make time management as important as money management. So yes, I'm able to post a lot. I'm able to uh, share a lot. I'm able to seem like I'm online a lot, but that's only because I manage my time very efficiently. I also budget time and bundle time consuming tasks. So the time that I can save over in one area may give me another time to read a newspaper article or an online article in another area. And also, I separate work from leisure. In the past, I could separate it in my house where I had my office. And whenever I go to work, the only place where I do work in the house is in my office. I don't sit on the couch and do work. I don't sit in the bed and do work. Every now and then I do sit in bed and read. But since I lost my office with my wife working from home, I now um, have my little space, and my son is taking up the dining room because he brought home his computers and he's a computer science tech, so he's working from home. So I don't have a space anymore. I found my little space in the breakfast nook, and I don't usually hang out there. I just turned the chair around and I sat and I'd say, "Oh, this is my space. I'm gonna retire in this space right here." So I did find my little space now where I can go and chill. But for the most part, I do separate my work and from my leisure. And then I wanted the last part: don't be afraid to delegate authority, accountability, and responsibility. There again are those three. Like I said, you're going to see threes popping up throughout my training. So your PS factor is your conscious awareness of your natural God-given ability to attract a successful outcome. As your level of conscious awareness uh, heightens, so does your PS factor, from physical to mental, mental to emotional, and then emotional to spiritual. And there is your PS factor. Now, I want you to apply this, and this is the last segment that we'll go through today. This is the progressive mindset, and I'm just going to give you all of these in one, and then we're going to emphasize each one on a daily training. But your mentality developed through either your biological, genealogical, or environmental influences will progressively determine your mindset. So you are hardwired in a certain way, and 95% of your brain was wired between birth and 5 years old, and it is that way. If you 9 times out of 10, if you were wired to be left-handed, you're still left-handed. You're hardwired that way. But there's also some genealogical influences there. You have the eyes of your dad and the smile of your mom, but you also have some environmental influences. You talk with a southern accent or a French accent, or you really love southern cooking, All of those things are environmental. So you have those environmental influences, you got the genealogical influences, you got the biological influences, and all of those impact your mindset because of your mentality. So you have that physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. And again, let me, I'm going to put it on. I think I can leave it in this corner here. So you got those. And now let's talk about what the Bible says about that. Wisdom is the principal thing. Therefore, get wisdom. And with all that getting, get understanding. And the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. And the knowledge of the Holy One is understanding. So if you guys haven't got a chance, I'm going to take a pause here and say this. You got to check me out in the morning on my I do a Facebook Live and on my personal Facebook page, and it's called my morning commute. So in my morning commute, I just talk. I have conversations, really laid back. This is pretty much structured, but I'm not as structured in the morning, and just just I'm sharing a lot of information, but it resonates with what we're having here. So I do want you to understand that the what I said this morning, and I continually emphasize it. You should have three books. Back again, there are the threes. You should have those three things that you are looking at that help you to make sense of the world. One is the Bible. The other one is a really good history book or knowledge of history. And number three is get some current news. So you cannot live your life by feeding on current news alone and ignoring history because that as if it didn't happen, or denying the Bible. And you most certainly cannot live all your life in the Bible as if there's no history, like there are no dinosaurs. Come on, right? You gotta mix it. It's gotta make sense. Put it in line and in order in the right place. And when you do that, you can draw this straight line from the Bible through history, through current events, and on into the future. And that's what this does. And so the morning sessions are really just my conversation about that. But these the lunch and learn sessions are going to sort of give you the nuts and bolts. So let's talk about that, and we'll wrap up here with the progressive mindset. Your mentality determines your mindset. So first, there's the caveman mentality, and the caveman has a fearful mindset. And then there's the slave mentality, and the slave mentality is that angry mindset. You go from being a caveman, you everything is in that cave at the lowest level. All you hear is sounds on the outside, and all you can do is just make a determination of what you think it is or what somebody tells you it is. And there are a whole lot of people that are living in caves, fearful, and or they come out of the cave as slaves with the chains on them, or newly having the chains off, and they still have the mindset that's angry. And so and basically you got the caveman fighting against the slave at the lowest level. And these battles are going on within yourself now. I'm not just talking about out there in the world of social media or riots on the street. No, I'm talking about you wrestling within yourself to try and evolve to your higher self. You got to fight past all of this. You just get free from the slave mentality, and now you become a farmer working just as hard as you did as a slave. Now nobody has to force you to go to work. Now you got to go to work because you got them bills to pay. You got this ornery mindset. Let somebody cut you off at work on the way to work, and you are cussing mad, right? That's that farmer mentality. Then the fisher mentality has a protective mindset. You can tell that person who's in the fisher mentality because that fisherman mentality is, I'm not going to tell you how I did it, or buy my course and I'll give it to you. I'll tell you the secret. I had one guy. I didn't work with him because of this. He said, I know how to do Facebook ads, and there's something that I do that's magic. And I'm like, well, what is it? And he says, well, I charge for that. You have to pay me a lot for that. It's in there, and but I'm not going to tell anybody, because if I told you, you wouldn't come back to me. And guess what? I didn't come back. I didn't pay him at all. Remember what I said earlier? He can set his price, but I determined the value. And I saw no value in someone who would do something like that. Take something that's readily available for free, hide it, and then put a price on it as if they're adding some value to it. That's a fisherman mentality. because you figure all the fish are going to run out someday. So I need to protect it. But then you leave that fisher mentality and you get into the hunter mentality. It's motivated. But here's the problem: hunters are sometimes motivated by the sound of a bear, and that bear will make them run like crazy. And so you can be motivated by fear, motivated by things you hear, or motivated by circumstances, motivated by hunger. Man, if I don't kill it, I don't eat. Or I got to go out and hunt this thing down because I'm about to run out of food. That becomes your motivation, and it can quickly become the wrong motivation. You want to have a motivated mindset, but you want to be motivated by the things that give you pure energy, not those things that drain you. Then you have the warrior mentality, and that warrior mentality has that conquering mindset. And with that conquering mindset, the warrior mentality conquers everything. And I remember when I made it to the warrior mentality, and I was conquering, going out and conquering everything, and I had conquered everything. But here's the problem with that warrior mentality: after you have conquered everything, and there's nothing else to conquer, you know what the warrior starts doing? He starts beating up on himself. I should have done this. I should have done that. And I went through a long period of time where I didn't realize that I had the warrior mentality. Not only did I not realize that I had the warrior mentality, I didn't realize that the warrior mentality had given me a conquering mindset. And even worse than that, I did not realize that that conquering mindset was turning on me, and I was beating myself up and putting myself through hurt and pain until I got to the point of understanding that I needed to forgive myself. And that brought me to the Christ-like mentality. The Christ-like mentality has a servant mindset. Again, I said it earlier. Seth Godin said, if we can just fall in love with serving people, that's it. Just fall in love with serving people. When your business is about service and that's all you want to do is just serve people, and then you can find and they can see the value in you providing that service because you are the kind of person that on the inside there's something about you. They like hanging out around you. And it's not about your business. It's not about how much money you're making. It's about the fact that you are serving them. And then ultimately, this is your ultimate goal. Um, and we all want to try and get here. And that's where you have your mentality is that you have the mind of Christ. The Bible says, let this mind that was in Christ Jesus be also in you. Let this mind that was in Christ Jesus be also within you. And what was that mind? That I am one with God, I am one with the universe, I am God. And when you realize that, boom, the world opens up and you understand now greater is he that's in me than he that's in the world. Guys, I'm leave my contact information with you. And you feel free to reach out to me. That's actually my cell number. Um, I'm going to make it easy. For now, I'll leave my cell, but once it gets to the point to where I feel like I can't get to you personally, then I'm going to put you on. I'll have it go over to my call center so that our customer service department can answer it. But I just want to thank you all so much for hanging out with me um, for this lunch and learn session. It was an extended session and quite extended, in fact. But I'm going to put the entire video up so that you can see it. I may even edit it and split the two because one was the basics of business and the other one was the PS factor, and then I'll make them available separately. But for now, just know that every day, tune in every day at 12 o'clock noon, uh, Monday through Friday. I'm going to do the lunch and learn sessions, and then I'm going to do them every day at noon, regardless, so that I can do my commitment is to do 21 days, and then we'll look at the schedule as to whether or not we'll make them available on repeat and or I'll just continue doing them live. But please subscribe to my Get Ready for Greatness YouTube page. Uh, Hit the alerts button so you the bell so you can get the alerts and like it like the page, go over to the YouTube page, the Facebook page, and Get Ready for Greatness. Log on to the PS Factor because that's the third component. I'm going to be doing the my PS Factor podcast, and it's designed to just be that shot of motivation that you need. Um, I'm able to give that to you in maybe a 15 to 30, 20-minute broadcast or so. So there you go. That's everything I got for today. As we move through these next 21 days, things are going to slow down and calm down a little bit. I'll be more precise and make certain that you can get this in that 1 hour lunch from 12 to 1, and especially for those of you who are working from home. And then if you can't catch it during the live broadcast, be sure to get back over to either the Get Ready for Greatness YouTube page or log on to getreadyforgreatness.com or Get Ready for Greatness on Facebook. My name is Richard Cuff, guys. I really appreciate you hanging out. Till tomorrow, take care.